वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। 42nd class. Please repeat after me. वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम्
वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम्
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधो विधीयते।
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधो विधीयते।
साधनचतुष्टय सम्पन्नाधिकारिणाम् मोक्षसाधनभूतम् तत्त्वविवेकप्रकारं वक्ष्यामः। साधनचतुष्टयं किम्?
साधनचतुष्टयं किम्?
नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः
नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः
इहामुत्रार्थफलभोगविरागः शमादिषट्कसम्पत्तिः मुमुक्षुत्वं चेति नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः कः?
नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः कः?
नित्यवस्तु एकं ब्रह्म
नित्यवस्तु एकं ब्रह्म
तद्व्यतिरिक्तं सर्वम् अनित्यम्
तद्व्यतिरिक्तं सर्वम् अनित्यम्
अयम् एव नित्यानित्यवस्तु विवेकः
अयम् एव नित्यानित्यवस्तु विवेकः
विरागः कः
विरागः कः
इह स्वर्गभोगेषु इच्छाराहित्यम्
इह स्वर्गभोगेषु इच्छाराहित्यम्
शमादिषट्कसम्पत्तिः का
समाधिषट्कसम्पत्तिः का
शमः दमः उपरमः
शमः दमः परमः
तितिक्षा श्रद्धा समाधानं च इति
तितिक्षा श्रद्धा समाधानं च इति
शमः कः
शमः कः
मनोनिग्रहः
मनोनिग्रहः
दमः कः
दमः कः
चक्षुरादि इन्द्रियनिग्रहः
चक्षुरादि इन्द्रियनिग्रहः
उपरमः कः
परमः कः
स्वधर्मानुष्ठानम् एव
स्वधर्मानुष्ठानम् एव
तितिक्षा का
तितिक्षा का
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखादिसहिष्णुत्वम्
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखादिसहिष्णुत्वम्
श्रद्धा कीदृशी
श्रद्धा कीदृशी
गुरुवेदान्तवाक्येषु विश्वासः श्रद्धा
गुरुवेदान्तवाक्येषु विश्वासः श्रद्धा
समाधानं किम्
समाधानं किम्
चित्तैकाग्रता
चित्तैकाग्रता
मुमुक्षुत्वं किम्
मोक्षत्वं किम्
मोक्षो मे भूयात् इति इच्छा Can you hear me? Is it moksho me bhuyat iti ichha
मोक्षो मे
मोक्षो मे भूयात् इति इच्छा
etat sadhanachatuštayam
एतत्
एतद् साधनचतुष्टयम्
ततः तत्त्वविवेकस्य अधिकारिणः भवन्ति
ततः तत्त्वविवेकस्य अधिकारिणः भवन्ति
Okay, you can mute your mic now. After Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi, that is the sixfold disciplines in the group Shamadhi, Shamadama, Uparamaha, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam, we have seen each starting from Sadhana Chatushtaya, Viveka Vairagya Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi, and the final one is Mumukshutvam. With this, the topic of Sadhana Chatushtayam will be completed. The reason for discussing this very elaborately is we have to discover that person, that adhikari in ourselves, so that the sadhya, that is the moksha, is possible. One has to need to have relatively these sadhanas, these means, this status. One has to cultivate, or one has to discover this in oneself, so that one become that person what one aspires all through his life, in and through all the pursuits. That is why we spend so much time on this sadhana chatushtayam. It's called sadhana. Sadhana means. Sadhana, in this context, the word sadhana I translated as qualification. Sadhana means. Sadhnoti, anena iti sadhanam, that by which you accomplish. That's called sadhanam. You go to Kashi. How do you go? You go by train. It's a means of transport. It's a sadhanam. The destination is Kashi. The means of reaching Kashi is through the train or by the car or by the flight, whatever may be. It is a sadhana. Destination being there. Therefore, we need a means. The means should be proper. The means should be equipped with all the necessary things so that the journey will be complete, so that the destination will be reached. That's why it's called sadhana. That is why it's called sadhana. If sadhanam is there to accomplish the sadhya, sadhya is the goal, the destination, what you want to accomplish, the end to be accomplished, that is called sadhya. The means of accomplishing it is called sadhanam. Here, the sadhanam, here in this context, the sadhanam means the person must have the means. First, he must have the means within himself. He must have the means within himself so that he can operate the means to reach the destination. Need to understand this very clearly. Here I use two sadhanam. One is sadhanam, that's why I translated sadhana chatushtayam as qualification, that's sadhanam. Another sadhanam is means. To distinguish the two means, are there really two means? From a different context, there are two means. That is, for moksha, that is the topic we are going to discuss now. For moksha, the sadhanam, the means is shastram. Like for the perception of an object, say a rose, the means are the eyes. Chakshuhu, eyes are the sadhanam, the means operating which you can see the flower, the rose. Similarly, ears are the sadhanam, operating which you can hear the sound, the speech, the talk. These are the sadhanam. So in this context, sadhanam means. For moksha, what is a sadhanam? Shastram is a sadhanam. Shastram is the pramanam, the only means of knowledge, for gaining jnanam, and that jnanam is moksha. So, for moksha means jnanam. We will discuss that also in detail later. Moksha means freedom, and freedom is possible only through jnanam, knowledge. The knowledge is accomplished through the sadhana, which is the shastram. So, shastram is a sadhanam, fine. But the person who operates the shastram, he must also be properly equipped. The means are there. Means are there doesn't mean anybody can operate and reach. No, the car is there. Car is the means. The vehicle is the means. Can anybody operate the vehicle? Flight is there. By flight you reach Kashi. Can anybody operate a flight? Flight is a means of reaching Kashi, but the person must be specially equipped to operate the flight. He must be a special person, equipped with special talent, special training. He only can operate the flight. Even a car also. The person who has the know-how of driving, he can only operate the sadhana, the vehicle, the car to reach the destination. Therefore, the qualification on the part of the person operating is known by the word sadhanam. Therefore, it is translated as qualification. Now, the qualified person, adhikari, he can operate the means with the help of the guru. The means is the shastram. With the help of the guru, he can reach the destination, moksha. Therefore, as the means of reaching the destination, as a means, shastram is the pramanam, the means, and to understand shastram, what the shastram teaches, the person also should be sufficiently equipped. The person should discover himself to be that person what he is seeking. Relatively he must equip to be himself that person what is relatively what he is seeking. That discovery, that understanding, that cultivating those qualities, which will make him reach the destination is called sadhana chatushtayam. So therefore only adhikaritvam we say. The status of being an adhikari, the one who has adhikaritvam, that person can operate the means, which is shastram, by approaching the guru upasadanam, gain knowledge and reach moksha, gain moksha. So therefore only we spend so much time on the sadhana chatushtayam. Sadhanam, that is the shastram is available. The shastram to be learnt with the help of the guru. That is guru upasadanam. That will come next. First one has to consider oneself, where he is. Whether he is a yogya purusha, he has got yogyatvam. Then he can go to the guru upasadanam. The guru will give you knowledge. The guru will operate the shastram because he has the know-how of operating the shastram, and he unfolds the vision of the shastram and makes you understand. Too. Guru will make you understand, but the student also must be equipped with sadhana chatushtayam so that what he conveys will be meaningful to you, will be understood by you. Otherwise, those things will be just words, doesn't carry any knowledge. The words carry knowledge. Not just knowing the words is knowledge. What the words convey, that is knowledge. That knowledge alone liberates a person. Therefore, knowing the words is not freedom, will not give freedom. The knowledge of what the words convey, that alone gives freedom, moksha. So therefore, Viveka Vairagya Samadhi Shatka Sampatti Mumukshutvam, just for knowing, just not for knowing, just for cultivating in oneself. When a person is an adhikari, the jnanam must happen. There is no other choice. When you open your eye, you see the object. There is no choice. You don't have choice not to see the object by opening your eyes. You cannot operate your faculty of choice. Whereas you have faculty of choice in doing, but not in knowing. That is the difference between knowledge and action. In action, you have choice. You see a flower, you can grab it, you can smell it and throw it, possible. Or you can just leave the flower as it is in the tree, as in the plant, as it is. You can just walk away. Or you don't look at the flower also. Even though your eyes fall on the flower, but your thoughts are somewhere else. So therefore you don't focus on that and just you move away. It is possible, but you see the flower. When you see the flower, the knowledge that flower is there, the knowledge of the flower happens in your mind because you are operating the means. So the knowledge, the flower knowledge must happen. But the action, on the action part, there is, on the action part only there is choice, not in gaining the knowledge. So that is why we say knowledge is Vastu Tantra. Knowledge is Vastu Tantra. There is no free will involved. Whereas the action is Kartru Tantra. It depends on the Karta. The Karta can operate, can work. He can work because he has a faculty of choice. Therefore, he can choose to do the particular action, or he need not do the action, or he can do the action in a different way. Kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, nyatava kartum shakyam. The karta has got the freedom, because he has got faculty of choice, he has got free will. Therefore, he can do things as he likes. In doing, you have faculty of choice. You have freedom, but not in knowing. The knowledge happens. Therefore, for the knowledge to happen, the means have to be taken care. The eyes for the object knowledge, for the vision to be taken care. Similarly, for the sound, the ears have to be taken care. Similarly, for the Shastram, to give you knowledge, the person should take care of himself, adhikaritvam. That is why we spend so much time on this topic, adhikaritvam. And in that topic, the last one is mumukshutvam, important one. Mumukshutvam. The word mumukshutvam, in Sanskritam we will be seeing this. You can see mumukshutvam. Tvam is a suffix. It's a pratyaya. Tvam doesn't mean you. Tvam doesn't mean you here. It's a pratyaya. It's a suffix. Mumukshutvam. Even the word tattva bodha, tva is there. So it is a suffix. The meaning of this suffix is the status of being. The status of being. That is a meaning. The status. Tasya bhavaha. Having the status. That is the meaning of this suffix mumukshutvam. Therefore, the word mumukshutvam means the status of having the desire to be free. That is called mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam kim? The desire, the status of having the desire to be free is called mumukshutvam. So desire is there. Where is the word desire? The word for desire is ichcha or kama. But where is the word desire in this? The word desire is there in the very word mumukshu itself. The word mumukshu in Sanskritam, it is derived by adding a particular suffix called san pratyaya. We have in Sanskritam, basic Sanskritam class, we have seen tit, tas, ji, ti pratyaya, ti, taha, anti. These are the pratyaya you add to the dhatu, you get the kriya padam. Similarly, there is a pratyaya called san pratyaya, suffix, that you add to a dhatu, a verbal root, you get the meaning desire to, whatever may be the meaning of the dhatu. For example, the dhatu is gam, desire to go. That is the meaning you will get by adding the particular pratyaya, san pratyaya. Walk, desire to walk. Eat, desire to eat. Free, desire to be free. That is what is here. Know, knowledge, desire to know. Do, desire to do. So, the desire to know, desire to be free, those are the desire. The one who has the desire, that becomes mumukshu. The desire to be free is called mumuksha. The desire to know is called jignasa. The desire to do is called chikirsha. So you can know these words: mumuksha, jignasa, chikirsha. All these words have got the meaning desire inbuilt in it because of this pratyaya, san pratyaya. This is the desire to do a particular action. Now we are talking about the person who has this desire. So mumuksha means desire to know. The one who has a desire, it's called mumukshu. So mumuksha will become mumukshu. Similarly, desire to know is called jignasa. Athato Brahma Jignasa, the first sutra in the Brahma Sutra. Jignasa, desire to know. The one who has a desire to know, referring to the person, becomes Jignasu. So Jignasa becomes Jignasu, Mumuksha becomes Mumukshu. Similarly, desire to do, Chikirsha, will become Chikirshu. The desirer to do. Talking about the person, the one who desires to do, chikirshu. So here the word mumukshu is there. Mumukshu is the person, one who has mumuksha. One who has mumuksha. Mumuksha meaning desire to be free. And who has that mumuksha is called mumukshu. And mumukshutvam is the status of having the desire to be free. That is the meaning of the word mumukshutvam. Therefore, here the Shishya asks a question, mumukshutvam kim? Further, the teacher answers, moksho me bhuyat iti ichha. You see the word ichha also is there. Why the word ichha is there? Because mumukshu has the meaning ichha inbuilt in it. So moksho me bhuyat, to me, bhuyat, let there be freedom for me. Iti, ichha, desire is called mukshutvam. The status of having the desire. What kind of desire is this? Already I have desire for artha, kama, and dharma. All those are ichha. And one more ichha, mumuksha. What is this desire? This is a different type of desire. We talk about giving up the desire in general. We say desire is a problem, we have to give up. Desire is the root cause of all miseries. That is what Buddha also taught. So desire is a problem. We should be self-contented, self-satisfied, or we should try to minimize the desires. This is what a general preaching we hear. But here we are talking about the desire. Let me have desire for freedom. What kind of desire is that? How can we entertain desire? This desire is a different type of desire. In fact, it is a desire to be free from desire. Therefore, it is not a simple desire, not like any other desire. The desire to be free from desire. The desire to be free from being desirous. That is called mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam. It's a beautiful thing. Therefore, this is not like any other desire. It is totally a different kind of desire. The desire to be free. Freedom, when we say, it means there is bondage. Then only we can talk about freedom. When there is no bondage, then what is freedom? Freedom has no meaning. And what is bondage? That which bounds me in the form of desire. I have got some value for something. I'm clinging to something. I'm attaching myself to something which I consider to be very important, without which I cannot live. I cannot survive. Losing that, I lose myself. I feel as though I lose myself. I'm so connected to that thing, it takes a ride. So, therefore, I, who am a conscious person, is dictated by these so many objects of the world, over which I have a strong clinging attachment. It could be objects, it could be persons, it could be situations, it could be status, it could be anything. That is what we generally call it as dharma, artha, kama. That put it simply, everything can be classified into three. The three purushartha, sadhya. The desire is there. Desire to become something. Desire to gain something so that I become satisfied. Desire to gain certain security so that I feel I'm a secured person. Therefore, there is always a desire to become. The desire to become is a problem. It's a samsara. Desire to become is a problem. The becoming is a problem. You cannot become something so that you will be free. Freedom doesn't lie in becoming. Therefore, when we talk about freedom, the bondage is the desire to become something. That is the bondage. The desire to become, a desire to gain, so that I feel complacent. I never feel complacent. I assume that I will feel complacent. I feel contented. I feel satisfied. That is never going to happen. That is bondage. Now, to be free from bondage, the desire to be free from that is freedom. So, therefore, freedom is what? The desire to be free from desire. The desire to be free from being a person having desires. Because these desires take me for a big ride. It doesn't allow to be with myself. Doesn't allow to feel at home. Therefore only I need to cultivate that desire so that I become free from the trap of the desires. Desires for the objects, for the things, for the persons, for the situations of the world. It could be of this world, or it could be of the other world also. That is why we talk about iga swarga bhogeshu icharagityam. There you can see vairagya, we talked about icharagityam. There we talked about Icha Ragityam, free from desire. Here we are talking about Icha. So you can see the connection. Vairagya is freedom from desire, whereas Mumukshutvam is desire itself. So it is not contradictory. That is why if you don't have the sufficient background, or if you are not taught by the teacher, you will feel a contradiction. If you are a thinking person, if you think, if you analyze, then you will see a contradiction between these two. One place you are saying freedom, free from desire. Another place you are saying desire. What is this? Is it not contradiction? There is no contradiction. In the case of Vairagya, it is different. Ihasvarga bhogeshu icharagityam. Free from the free from the desire to enjoy here or enjoy there. Enjoy means there objects are there, objects of enjoyment. Here in Mumukshutvam, what are the objects of enjoyment? There are no objects of enjoyment. You, the very subject, you want to discover. The desire to discover yourself is the desire we are talking about. So there are no objects of enjoyment. Therefore, this Icha is a superior Icha. It is a Sattvika Icha. And this Icha should be a very powerful desire. It just should not be just a passing or a casual desire. That is what the word Mumukshutvam is. And the suffix Tvam, it refers to that status, the cultivation of this, gaining the status of having a Mumukshu. That is called Mumukshutvam. It's a beautiful word. And in Viveka Chudamani, Bhagavad Pada says, Mumukshutvam is there, should be there in a person for a spiritual sadhaka. The three things are important. Three things are important. If these three things are there, Durlabam Trayame Vaitatu Devanugraha Hetukam. Bhagavad Pada says these three things are Devanugraha Hetukam. It is possible only to have these three things because of the grace of the God. Only Bhagavan's grace, by Bhagavan's grace alone, we can have these three things. Manushyatvam, number one. Mumukshutvam, number two. First is being a Manushya. Manushya Janma is very difficult to get because Jantuna, Narajanma Durlamaha, we discussed that in the beginning of the class. Why it is very rare, Manushya Janma. In spite of so many species, we have to take a Manushya Janma. It's not an easy thing. You should have sufficient amount of Papa Punya mixture. Then only Manushya Janma is possible. That is why Manushyatvam. There also Manushyatvam. Tvam you can see. The status of being a human being. And Mumukshutvam, the second one. Then Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. Association, Satsanga with the Sadhu Jana. These three things are possible only by the grace of the Lord. So, Mumukshutvam is so important that you can very clearly see in that shloka. Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. Doesn't talk about other qualities, other sadhanas. Mumukshutvam is there, then everything will fall in place. And here, Moksho me bhuyat. Me bhuyat, it's a prayer. Praying to the Lord. It has a prayerful sense. The word bhuyat. Bhuyat is ling lakara. We'll be seeing in Sanskritam class, ling lakara. Ajna prarthanadishu ling. Ling, the lakara, the lakara. Lakara means patati patataha, that is lat lakara, present tense, tenses. Lakara is tenses. In Sanskritam we have 6 tenses and 4 moods. So this is one of the mood, bhuyat. So it has got a sense, ajna. One is the order, other one is prarthana. So here bhuyat, it is in the sense of prarthana. The prarthana is involved in the desire. You are asking the Bhagavan, let me have this desire. When generally what we do, when we have desire, we pray to Bhagavan for the fulfillment of the desire. That is what generally we do. In any puja sankalpa, Amopata, Samasta, Duritakshadvara, Shri Parameshwara Prityartam, then Chaturvida, Dharmartha, Kama, Moksha, Phala, Purushartha, Siddhyartam. We ask for the fulfillment of desires. We give a lot of desire, lot of, you know, our requirements to Bhagavan in the form of the sankalpa, in the very sankalpa before the puja we give. There we ask for the lot of things. But here the prarthana is, you make me the person desire. We have the desire, therefore we do prarthana generally. But here we are asking the Lord, let me have this desire. Let me have the desire. It means the desire to be free is not complete. It is something, some desire is some attraction, some casual, some desire is there. That's all. It is not complete. So we are asking the Bhagavan to make this desire very intense, tivra. Then only this desire will manifest in the form of Guru Upasadanam and Shastra Patanam, etc. So therefore we are asking the Bhagavan, you please cultivate, you please somehow you ignite this desire in me. Therefore prarthana is involved. Moksho me bhuyat iti icha. Understand the difference between two types of desire. One desire is, one type of thing is, we have desires, therefore we pray. Two types of desire and two types of prayer. We have desires, therefore we pray. And here the prayer is for the very desire itself. That's a beautiful thing here. So the prayer is for cultivating the desire. What type of desire is it? That is the desire. That is the mukshutva. A spiritual sadhaka must have this desire. The desire to be free. That is an important sadhana, so that a person becomes a sadhaka. Because a person is a sadhaka, is a seeker. What seeker? Is it a dharma seeker? Dharma sadhaka or artha sadhaka or kama sadhaka? No. He is a moksha sadhaka. In the very moksha, icha is the desire to be free. Therefore, mumukshutvam iti. And prayer is involved in this, but that is indicated by the word bhuyat. You pray to moksho me bhuyat. Now, moksha is required, but how moksha is possible? Moksha is possible only through jnanam, not by karma. Because karma is limited. So any karma you do, that is going to give you limited result only, limited karma palam. So karma being limited and the karma palam being limited, therefore the result in the form of sukha and dukkha, that also going to be limited only. Parichinnam. With the limited karma palam, you cannot aspire to be free from samsara. Not possible. Because it is limited. So, the limitedness is the nature of karma. Therefore, it's very clear, by karma, by action, you cannot become free. By action, when we say, it means any other means, any yoga, it is, by any yoga, freedom is not possible. Whatever may be the yoga, karma yoga, bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is not different from karma yoga, or kriya yoga, or hatha yoga, any yoga. These are yoga, they involve karma. Karma cannot give you unlimited result, not possible. The unlimitedness, purnatvam, the completeness, being the nature of you, that you having no idea about it. Therefore, to know that, what is required? Knowledge only required. Purnatvam is not gained. Purnatvam cannot be gained. The completeness, adequacy cannot be gained. Adequate, how can you gain the Purnatvam? Completeness, it's not possible to gain. Because karma being limited, no karma can give you Purnatvam. The Purnatvam, either it must be your nature or it must not be. If it is not your nature, then you don't need to aspire to be free. You can continue to be a samsari. If that is what it is, but it is not. We have the aspiration to become free. Therefore, Purnatvam must be there. And that Purnatvam must be myself. It is myself. Therefore, to discover that Purnatvam, what is required? To discover the Purnatvam, which is myself, the freedom is knowing that Aham Purnaha. The freedom is only by knowing. And for the knowledge to take place. The knowledge to take place. The knowledge only can make you free. Therefore, what is required? The knowledge. The knowledge alone can give you moksha. So, and for the knowledge to take place, we need to pray to the Lord so that He can provide the conducive ambience, the conduciveness to pursue knowledge and to be free. So, therefore, all these things are kept in mind and there is a prarthana involved. Bhuyat. Bhuyat iti. So, therefore, this mumukshutvam is a different type of desire. Is a different type of desire. It is a status of. It is a status of being desirelessness. A state desirelessness for the limited things. But to know myself, which is Purnaha, for that desire is there. Therefore, it's a different type of desire, and for that you pray to the Lord. You pray to the Ishvara, and that moksha is possible only through jnanam. Therefore, you are asking for jnanam, and jnanam means guru, shastram. Therefore, ultimately, you are asking Bhagavan to give me the conducive situation, the conducive ambience, so that I can pursue jnanam. He is a sadhaka. He is a sadhaka, and therefore he has this sadhana chatushtaya. Chatushtayam. Sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha iti. So, therefore, mukshutvam is a very beautiful word. It's got a lot of meaning. It's got in-depth meaning. Lot of meaning means not many meanings are there. In-depth meaning. In-depth meaning in the word very mumukshutvam. Now, this you may ask, how can I desire for moksha? A desire generally arises only when you know a thing. First, knowledge precedes before desire. Without the knowledge of an object, you cannot entertain a desire for it. Can you desire for that thing? What that thing? What is that? That is not known. What is that? You cannot desire for something which you don't know. You have, let us say you have seen the car, Mercedes-Benz, very expensive car. You know it. You can have desire for it. Mercedes-Benz. If that car is not known to you, then how can you have desire for that car? Not possible. So, for any desire to happen, even to fall in love with a person, you must know the person. Then only is falling in love or rising love is possible. Unless you know, how is it possible? So, therefore, the object of desire, the knowledge of the object of desire, the knowledge of the object precedes the desire. Jnana Shakti comes first. Then only Ichcha Shakti. Then only Kriya Shakti. So Jnana Shakti, Jnanam first, and then only Ichcha, then only action. The knowledge is first, because you have the knowledge and you have the free will and the faculty of, you have the free will, you have the privilege of desiring, therefore you have the knowledge and you have the privilege of desiring, therefore you can desire. Now you have free will and you have faculty of choice, therefore you can do action, kriya, to gain the object of desire. This is the order. Jnanam, Ichcha, Karma. So, therefore, desire arises for a thing what you know only. That which you don't know, for over which you don't have any attachment, any desire. So, therefore, a desire arises for a thing which you know. That's very clear. But here, desire for what? You don't know Atma. You don't know Atma. Atma Purnaha. Atma is not known. Is it not? Is it completely unknown? You cannot say. You cannot say it is completely unknown. You cannot say, I don't know Atma. Atma is you. You cannot say, I don't know myself. Saying, I don't know Atma, it is like the sun saying that it doesn't know its rays. Sun is nothing but the rays of the sun. So, therefore, Atma is known to you. It is not something, a new thing you will be knowing. Atma, the I, is known. But this I is considered to be limited. That's a problem. But I is known. I, the Atma, where you place the I is a problem. You place the I on this body. You place this I on the mind, on the emotions, on the things and objects of the world, or even on the person. You identify with someone so intensely, you place your eye on them. Therefore, only you say, without that person, I cannot live, I cannot survive. The eye, where you place the eye is important. But eye is known. Eye as limited is the mistake. That's a different thing. Therefore, the knowledge of Atma is there. The knowledge means not the correct knowledge of the Atma, the general knowledge of what Atma is there. So, therefore, you know Atma, but you don't have total knowledge of Atma. That is clear. The Atma is known. The object of desire is known, but not the complete knowledge of Atma. Now, because the knowledge of Atma, that is, Atma is Purnaha, it is complete, that you don't know because you don't have the means to know it. You cannot operate with your available pramanam to know that. Not possible. Aham Atma Purnaha, Aham Atma Jagat Karanam Brahma, Aham Atma, I, the Atma, who is the cause of this entire Jagat. It's a very big thing, big knowledge. This knowledge of Atma, which is what the Shastram we're going to see unfold. This knowledge of Atma, it comes only from the external pramanam. Shastram. Shastram is external to you. You don't have the Shastram with you. You have got certain means of knowledge. All the sense organs are there. You can operate the sense organs, pratyaksha. You can do anumana. You can operate the other pramanam, arthapatti, anupalabdhi, upamana, those 5 pramanas about which we discussed in detail before. You can operate only these 5 pramanas. But this knowledge about the Atma, it lies in the Shastram, which is external. And therefore, getting exposure to the Shastra Pramanam is not a simple thing. It's a very big thing. It needs a lot of grace. Ishvara Anugraha is required. Ishvara Anugraha is required. Therefore, since I don't know myself completely, and I want to know the real nature of me, and that that nature, the complete me, sometimes it manifests, not all the time. Sometimes you have a glimpse of yourself, the pleased self. That is, in and through all the pleasurable experiences of your life, you see your pleased self is invoked. You become a pleased person. When you are pleased, you are contented, you are free, you are, you recognize at that very particular moment, you recognize yourself to be complete, to be free, no worries, and no anxiety, no concern. You are pleased, you are so contented. You don't feel lacking. That experience, that anubhava comes uh, not regularly, but some moment, sometimes in life. And also the very fact that you avoid dukkham and you seek sukham, because the sukhanubhava, it invokes the pleased self, the pleased you. That is really you. That is your swarupa. Because no dukkha, sukha really can make you pleased unless you are pleased. Your nature is pleased. So therefore, the external things or people or objects, they are only a nimitta, a condition to invoke the self which is always pleased, which is you. The self doesn't have any dukkha. The self doesn't have any limitedness. So you feels complete at some moment, because that something external thing, it invokes that. That is the limitation of the external objects. Because you have the glimpse of your pleased self some moments in your life, therefore you want to be that person all the time. That is your true nature. You want to be that person, but that is your true nature. Therefore, only discovery is involved. Therefore, only jnanam is involved. That's a beautiful discussion in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yajnavalkya and Maitreyi, Sambhada is a discussion. There, Yajnavalkya says, everybody, what actually desires is oneself. Everybody, what actually desires is that pleased self. The pleased self, that invoke the pleased self, which gets invoked in the vyavahara through the external the things. That pleased self is one swarupa. To have the glimpse of the pleased self, people pursue different things. Really, people pursue different things for what? That is to have the glimpse of the pleased self, oneself. And Yajnavalkya says, Nava are patyukamaya patihi priyo bhavati, atmanastu kamaya patihi priyo bhavati, Nava are jaya kamaya jaya priya bhavati, atmanastu kamaya jaya priya bhavati. That is, a husband is loved not for the sake of the husband. An husband is an object of love because one loves oneself. The pleased self is invoked, therefore the husband is loved. Similarly, a wife, the love for the wife is not for the sake of wife alone. Wife, because of the pleased self. In the love for wife, the pleased self is discovered. So, the real object of desire is not the person or the people. It is the pleased self which is invoked. That is what you desire. Priya bhavati. Jaya priya bhavati. Natu atmanastu kamaya eva. For the pleased self alone, Jaya priya bhavati. For pleased self alone, Patihi priyaha bhavati. And he gives a long list. Nava are putranam kamaya putraha priyaha bhavanti. Atmanastu kamaya putraha priya bhavanti. Nava are vittasya kamaya vittam priyam bhavati. Atmanastu kamaya vittam priyam bhavati. Iti, he gives a long list. Nothing is really loved for the sake of that thing. Everything is loved because for invoking this pleased self, which is you. So the real object of love is oneself. That is its swarupa. That is a swarupa of Atma. And trying to discover through the objects, that is where we commit the mistake. So, because the knowledge of Atma, the knowledge of oneself is not complete, therefore only we go outward. We go outward. And Shastram says, you are complete and you are the object of love. Your nature is love. Because your nature is love, therefore only you have love for other objects. Because the love for thing invokes the pleased self, that is your nature. So, any object is loved not for the sake of object, because it invokes the pleased self in you. So, that is what the desire is. That desire is called moksha, moksha ichcha. So, that desire for the pleased self, which is myself, is called moksha. Moktum ichcha, mumuksha. So, mumuksha is the desire for freedom. Moktum ichcha mumuksha tasya bhavaha mumukshutvam, the status of having the desire to be free. Is the only desire is sufficient? No. The desire is a first step. After this desire starts the next step. That we will see. We will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवादः जी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवादः गुरुजी.